f1.2, 75mm prime lens, which is great for portrait photography, incredibly sharp, and I'm gonna show you later some edited photos and some raw files for you to check them out. And the autofocus is great for both photo and video. So this is the Viltrox Pro AF 75mm f1.2 for Sony E mount, which means it's for cropped sensor cameras. But if you follow me, you know that I don't have cropped sensor cameras. They are both full frame, the Sony A7R5 and the Sony A7C. But Sony has a beautiful feature called Super 35mm. And this is amazing because I'm able to use these kind of lenses in my cameras as well. So if you have a full frame camera, you can also get this lens if you want to. Obviously, it's better for crop sensor, but if you don't have an APS-C camera, that's totally fine because the intro, I recorded it using the Super 35mm feature and the photos as well. If you record 4K, you're not gonna notice any loss using Super 35mm. For photo, it's a different story. So the advantages of shooting with the Sony A7R5 is that it has 61 megapixels. So even when using Super 35mm for photo, I still have 26 megapixels and the photos look incredible. Otherwise, you can shoot normal and you're gonna have a massive vignetting, which is totally normal because this lens is for crop sensor cameras, but you can just crop the image. So you're not gonna lose that much resolution. Maybe you're gonna lose less than if you shoot with Super 35mm. But in my case, because I still keep 26 megapixels, I was shooting all the shots in Super 35mm and the photos look incredible. And I'm gonna show you the lens now because it feels very good in your hands. It's quite heavy, but just enough to feel good. It's not very heavy. Then you have here this aperture ring, which is very smooth, but then you also have this button here, on and off. If you switch it on, the aperture ring is gonna go click by click, so it has stops. Otherwise, if you switch it off, it's gonna go smooth. I actually prefer to leave it on and feel the clicks. I think I have more control over the aperture. Then you have the focus ring, which is very smooth, and this is very good when you are focusing manually for video. You have the autofocus and manual focus mode, which is great to have it on the lens, and then you have an extra customizable button. So this is very good because it's an affordable lens, and affordable doesn't mean bad quality. I think it's a very good quality lens. I didn't find any chromatic aberration, and I'm gonna show you later the raw files. So for video, I was very surprised because the bokeh is incredible. You have an amazing blurry effect in the background. As you may know, depending on where you locate the subject, you're gonna create more bokeh or less, but f1.2 it's insane. So you can play with the distance of the subject with the background to create more bokeh or less, and obviously playing with the aperture. So for video, you really need ND filters. I did have to use a 6:9 variable ND filter. The ones I use for these intro and photos are these ones. They are from Nisi. It's a variable ND filter pack. I do have a full video about this, so I'm not gonna talk too much about them. Then you have Freewell as well. They are very good, both brands. There are many more, but these two are the ones I use. And I was using 6:9 as I told you because it was incredibly sunny, and I went to shoot the video at midday, which is the worst light ever. So it was very sunny, the light conditions were very harsh, but with the 6:9 I was able to shoot at f1.2. For video, for those who don't know, you really need to have them because the shutter speed has to be always double the frame rate. In my case, I was shooting at 24 frames per second, so I do have to shoot at a shutter speed of 50. So you cannot play with the shutter speed for video, so you need this 100%. I was shooting as well at 60 frames per second to catch some slow motion, so I did have to shoot at a shutter speed of 125. So I did need these ones as well, but just the 2:5 variable ND filter. So for video you need them, but for photo, even though I use them, you may not need them because you can always ramp up the shutter speed and it's totally okay, you can manage. But f1.2, sometimes it's too tight, you may need variable ND filters. Regarding the autofocus for video as well, it was quite good because it was tracking me all the time. I'm very lucky to have the Sony A7R5 because it does help, but the lens helped as well. It was working perfectly. Just in some moments, when I was going into frame, it takes just a little bit to hunt me, but that's normal because I was outside the frame. So that's totally fine. And then it got me and it followed me everywhere. So I never lost the focus. And for photos, it's even more impressive because when you are shooting at a very shallow depth of field, it's quite hard to get the eyes focused, even if you have an amazing autofocus in your camera. So I was shooting on my own. I was shooting with the Sony app, going back and forth to create movement in the photos, and I was surprised that most of the times I never missed my eyes. And this is very hard. I'm more shooting by myself because I was back and forth all the time. So I was amazed with the autofocus of the lens and my camera, obviously. And the photos look amazing as well because it creates this blurry background. Then you can play as well to put yourself behind a subject. You can create blurriness shooting with something in the foreground. This is something I do a lot and I love it because with these f1.2, f1.4 lenses, you can achieve creative portrait photography, and this is something I love. So I'm gonna show you the raw files because editing the photos is quite easy to feel like the lens is good. But you're gonna see how they look from the beginning. So this is one of the photos. All the photos were edited with my Moody Greens preset, available on my website. It's one of the best sellers, so go check it out later if you like. But I'm gonna show you the before. So this is edited and this is the before. So it was already perfect, but now I'm gonna zoom in and you will see it's zoomed in 300%, which is insane. And look at my eyes. And as I told you before, this is not 61 megapixels. I was shooting with the Super 35mm feature, so this means it's 26 megapixels. And being 26 megapixels, look at the resolution of this image. You can see everything. At 300%, you can see my eyelashes, my hair, my pores. You can see everything in so much detail, and it's just 26 megapixels. There is no chromatic aberration neither, anywhere. So the quality is incredible, and you have the beautiful bokeh in the background, and I wasn't too far away from the tree. I was quite close to the tree, and even like that, it was quite blurry. And this is edited. I can remove a little bit the highlights and make it even a tiny bit darker. So I'm gonna go to this one as well. This is the example I told you before about shooting with things in the foreground. And you're gonna see how the lens captured my eye, even though I was almost behind the leaves. It looks beautiful, this portrait, I really love it. So I'm gonna zoom in and look at the quality of my eye. You can see every single detail of my skin. It's so sharp, it's incredible. And you can see here the leaf was in the foreground, but it's very blurry because of the bokeh. This is the before and this is the after. I'm gonna reduce the highlights a little bit and make it darker. Remember guys that you always have to edit the photos and learn how to edit even if you buy presets from other photographers. You have to learn how to adapt them, and I do have a full video on my channel explaining how you can adapt any preset to your particular work. This is very important, but presets are very good to learn photography because you're gonna be able to deconstruct the preset and see how it works. This is how I learned many years ago, and I think it's great, but you can always adapt them to your work. This one is another photo here, already edited, but look how sharp it is. The flower is incredibly sharp and is so creamy. It looks like a painting. This lens, it's amazing guys, and again, I was shooting with it with a full frame camera. This lens is for APS-C cameras, and even like that, the photography is insane with 26 megapixels. So I highly recommend this lens if you really want to have something to achieve very creamy bokeh, because it looks incredible and it's very artistic as well. And I'm gonna show you something full body as well, maybe this one. So this one, because it's full body, is less blurry, but you can see the background here, the green part, is very blurry, and the plants, and this is a bit sharper. I really love this photo. It's edited with Moody Greens preset as well. This is the before, and this is the after. And this one, it didn't come out focused, but I actually love it. I think it's very creative, just focus in the background and not myself. I love creative portrait photography, and there is something creative about this. So many times, you're gonna find that you're gonna make mistakes and they look good. In my opinion, I really like this one. And I'm gonna show you one more here to show you the quality of the lens. This is the original file, and I'm gonna zoom in and look at the quality of my eye again. You can see everything so sharp. And it's not easy because I have my fringe as well. I have f1.2. Focusing your eyes this way, it's incredible. And this is already edited with Moody Greens. I'm gonna give more warmth to this photo. And that's it. And you can see the quality, it's insane. There is no chromatic aberration, it's very sharp, and the bokeh, it's so beautiful. And even though it's not for my camera, I was able to use it for both photo and video, and you couldn't even tell this lens is not for my camera. So if you have a crop sensor camera and you really want bokeh and a creamy effect for photo and video, This one is very good because it's very affordable, and also crop sensor cameras, normally they give you less bokeh than full frame. By f1.2 is gonna give you a lot of bokeh. So I really hope this video was useful. You're gonna have the link to the lens below, and if you have any questions, please ask me. I'm always super happy to help. And subscribe to my channel if you didn't yet, and like the video because it helps me a lot, and I will see you in the next one. Big love.